Libra, hey, thanks for dropping in with me. We are here to tap into your collective energy and see how you're going to be faring during this Pluto retrograde cycle. We had Pluto go retrograde in the sign of Aquarius back on May 2nd, and it's going to continue its backward motion until it ends up in Capricorn, where it will eventually go direct on October 11th. And this is a time when we're going to be diving more into our inner work, looking at our subconscious motivations. There's going to be a lot bubbling up beneath the surface. But whatever we learn during this time will get us moving forward in an empowering and hopefully decisive way come fall. And it was 111 on the clock when I said that. So I do think that something will come into alignment for you. A new beginning will come into alignment with you. I almost going to say Virgo. Okay, so maybe there's a Virgo that's factoring into this situation. I did just get through doing the Virgo read, but there could be something coming in there. I feel like there's never any accidents here, okay? There might be some kind of connection. There might be a new beginning that comes in through that Virgo house, okay? Something that you shift. Ooh, all right. Interesting. Something that you shift in your daily routine, the way you work, okay? I also see there's something that wants to advance toward you here, okay? Somebody wants to come toward you. Somebody wants to express a truth, all right? Maybe they have some feelings they want to express. This is a combination that does tend to mean a declaration of love, I have to say. And we also have the 10 of Pentacles here too. So maybe somebody really wants to solidify something with you. Interesting, okay? This could be something that comes up during Virgo's season. We might be jumping ahead a little bit. I have to say, Libra, that this action is first going down in your 5th house of romance, pleasure, fun, letting your hair down, you know, having a good time. But the fact that you got Pluto retrograde there shows that you're feeling really restricted in this area, okay? You might really be rebelling at this time. You might be willing to hedge your bets and take some chances just so you can find a little pleasure, all right? Be careful of that, Libra. Be smart, be smart. Don't challenge your stability too much, okay? Especially with that 10 of Pentacles there, that might be something that, you know, whatever you decide to do during this cycle, you know, things do come home to roost, because finally, when it goes into Capricorn, this Pluto retrograde, it will be going down in your 4th house, the house of home, okay? So you might be trying to figure out where you belong. I can see that too, all right? So let's just dive right into this. Let's see what energy is coming in for you, Libra, around this Pluto retrograde cycle. What is coming in for Libra during this Pluto retrograde cycle? How are things going to develop for Libra during this Pluto retrograde cycle? Ooh. All right. I think that you're dealing with a judgment, the way something went down. You feel like it wasn't fair. You feel like you got dealt raw hand back there. Okay. There's something here that just really brought you down for the count, I have to say, with judgment in reverse. You may feel like somebody unfairly judged you. Okay. There's this feeling of something not being fair here. There might have also been something that you thought would revive and it came to a grinding halt, okay? I think there's also this piece here that, you know, you feel frustrated, you know, you feel like you've had a little rough road to hoe. You're wanting a little bit more ease moving forward, maybe a bit more fun. Oh my goodness, I'm having such a hard time shuffling these cards. What's going on here, Libra? This is really interesting. What's the deal here? I've never experienced such a like strange shuffle. Oh, what is it? You just think that's the way it went down. Okay, you think something really unfair happened back there. I see that. You feel like something didn't turn out in your favor and you feel pretty upset about it. This is something around a soulmate though. But what you can't see is that this is actually going to turn out to your advantage, okay? It's a little flip it up and reverse it, like a game of Uno, I have to say. So don't judge things by surface appearances. There's a lot happening right now, okay? A lot is shifting in your situation. This could be in relation to an emperor. This could be somebody that has strong Aries or Taurus in their chart. I also see this as that North Node position. So there's something here that, still needs to be resolved. So that judgment in reverse could very well mean that there's something you still need to deal with to wrap up, okay? There's a karmic cycle that does need to come to a close. I feel like it's been left unfinished, all right? But whatever that is, I feel like it's coming back around, all right? It's coming home to roost, Libra. There's something here that you will have a chance to revisit. And I do feel like somebody is preparing to approach you, all right? Maybe it is a little opportunity for some pleasure here, okay? Maybe to change the way things went back there. It could be with this 10th house activity that you feel like something happened back there. It wasn't such a good look. It was really hard to deal with. You may have felt like some kind of intimacy was violated, like something was just splashed for everybody to see. I don't know if something went down publicly or if something went down on the World Wide Web, whatever this is. I do feel like it was pretty hard to swallow. With judgment in reverse, there's a feeling of like, I really got dealt raw hand, like that wasn't fair. You also may have felt like you dealt with a lot of unfair judgment in the situation. That's possible, okay? But whatever that was back there, I think it was necessary. This is one of those situations where though something looks upside down, it's actually right side up. It's a delay tactic. It's a little bit of synchronicity, okay? It needed to go down just like that, even though you may not understand that right now. You do have somebody who's approaching you, and they do have a truth that they want to communicate to you. And this looks like somebody who has something emotional to express. This is like a suitor energy. This is a soulmate energy. Could be somebody who has a strong Libra placement in their chart. They could also have a strong water sign placement. Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. For some of you, it's a Virgo placement. Others of you, you could be dealing with an Aries or a Taurus here, okay? So let's get some more details about this, all right? What are you looking at here? I think you're also taking a look at your love history here. I'm not going to take that because it didn't come all the way out. I think you're looking at your love history. You're doing a lot of integration here. You might be doing a lot of integration of the costs of pleasure, Yeah, I mean, something was really rough. I see that. It's like it got as bad as it could get for sure here with the 10 of Swords. You also may have felt really betrayed. You may have felt stabbed in the back, okay? But see, this is the thing, okay? You got a couple 10s here. This is the good thing, I have to say. Oh, and interesting, you do have Judgment, which is double 10s, okay? Maybe you're not the only one who felt like that, I have to say. There could be another here who, felt like it was a pretty rough deal themselves, okay? You may both feel that you've had to face some judgment in this situation and it was rough. And maybe something really had to head south before it could turn around and right itself. It does look like something's coming back around. Whatever happened back here, it's like it needed to happen, right? And maybe you still feel a lot around that. Maybe there's more that you need to integrate around that. Some of you may be dealing with a feeling of like, well, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. You're like, if everybody's just going to be out for, what suits them, what makes them feel good, what makes them feel happy. Maybe I want to have some pleasure too. Okay. I could see that energy here. But there's something that you need to get a different view of. And I think that part of what might be coming up for you may come from a place of hurt, right? This could be in relation to a water sign energy, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. You could have felt a sense of betrayal in this situation. Definitely could be a Pisces here. We do have a Page of Cups. Okay, that's Pisces card. This may be, a reason why you felt like I just need to invest in myself. I need to go my own way. I need to find a new way to move forward. Some of you really invested in yourself. You pulled out of any kind of concept of even investing emotionally in anyone. I think that if anything, you kind of took matters more casually, like you put a lid on your feelings as well, you know? You may have felt like you had to do that intuitively as a way to sort of like protect yourself. I think there's something you still need to process here emotionally before you're going to find a way through, all right? But I do got this energy that when you least expect it, somebody comes charging in and they get things moving. 10:44 on the clock. Big time, okay? We got the Chariot here too, the Knight, Swords. You could be dealing with an air sign energy, you know, somebody who has strong Gemini, Libra, Aquarius in their chart. Aquarius coming in pretty strong here. But we do have something that is going to get renewed here, right? There is some new beginning here. Something's in the process of manifesting. 11:11 on the clock, okay? Some kind of alignment is coming in for you. This could be with an Aries, it could be with an Aquarius, all right? But I do see you're really guarded here, all right? You might even kind of be putting up a front. You might be sort of like playing it like, well, I just want to take things nice and easy. I'm just focused on my coin. I'm focused on myself. I just want to play the field. I want to play it loose. I don't want any commitments. I think that might come from a place of hurt, though. Somebody wants to balance things out here, okay? There is some kind of healing process underway. There is something that needs to be alchemized here as well. You could be dealing with a Sagittarius. We also have Knight of Wands here, more fire sign energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. And here is the Queen of Pentacles here. So I do feel like you were really looking at how you had invested your energy, and maybe because we're looking at matters of love, we are looking at romance, we're looking at flirtation, we're looking at fun and just sort of playing things light, you know, just enjoying getting to know somebody, not taking things too seriously. But I feel like it's almost like you shifted into this kind of energy because you realized that you'd made commitments in the past that kind of left you, you know, with a bitter experience to process. And I feel like you took back the energy that you were investing in others and you started to invest in yourself. We do see here that you went from the 10, okay, building with another, to the 9, investing in yourself. This could have been prompted by an earth sign energy, could have been prompted by a Virgo, could have been prompted by a Capricorn, could have been prompted by a Taurus, okay? We did have some Taurus indications on the board here. So let's see where this goes. How is this going to continue to move forward for Libra? I mean, the shuffling is just really like stuck. Interesting. Okay, so you were dealing with somebody who was being fairly manipulative, I have to say. And I also think this person didn't have an idea what they wanted either. We got the King of Cups in reverse to the Two of Pentacles in reverse. Talk about two ships passing in the night and getting lost at sea. Okay, this is somebody who probably lacks a lot of balance, maybe emotional balance, water sign energy again. Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. When this energy is in reverse, it is highly manipulative. But I also feel like this person's pretty mixed up, okay? Something about this situation was extremely out of balance here, okay? And that's what was preventing things from coming together, all right? This is a past issue that's been lingering too long. This should have been brought to a closure a long time ago. We got Leo here in reverse, okay? So there needs to be a facing of this squarely. You could be dealing with a Cancer, Leo, cusper. There could be somebody, a Cancer, Leo, cusper. We had Pisces come out, okay? The water sign energy is coming out in reverse, okay? So there could be a situation here where somebody was just really out of balance, okay? Maybe something needed to be stabilized before this situation could be ironed out. There's definitely something karmically that's been balancing out here. And with that Judgment first coming out in reverse, you know, maybe, you know, you had to deal with, you know, ironing out a karmic cycle that, you know, you had to pay up a little bit at the crossroads. You know, we all have our karmic work to do. So I feel like there was some debt you needed to settle. And it also looks like this is a long-standing issue. You're not the only one who has to settle the issue here either. And it's interesting because I am noticing multiple players on the board here, all right? I am noticing multiple players on the board here. And maybe you just saw everything that was getting stirred up in a particular situation and you said, I am out. This is too out of balance for me. I can't trust anything. You know, the feeling of not having trust is very strong with the Ten of Swords there, okay? Feeling like you can't trust anyone. This is absolutely emotional manipulation here. The energy was very fast moving, very impulsive. Maybe something started out seeming like it would be fun, and then you started realizing all the drama that went along with it. And I think it also started to maybe tap into some really, you know, deep-seated stuff for you that you've needed to process. Either way, I feel like you started taking more of a kind of like flippant attitude when it comes to love, or like, I don't need that, you know, but something's going to change here with the Eight of Wands, okay? So I feel like there's a situation here that's been kind of like in a holding pattern, not for long, okay? Something's about to get moving here. In fact, I see it's going to be revisited probably around Leo season. This has been coming in for a lot of the signs. This may really speak for the collective too. I mean, this is Libra's read. This is for any strong Libra placement, or if you have a prominent placement in that seventh house. Also, if you're an Aries rising, that makes you a Libra descendant. But we have to remember Libra is in the South Node. So I do feel like a lot of the collective can relate to this. And in Leo season is when things really get cooking. We do have Jupiter entering Gemini on June 2nd, and it's going to form a harmonious trine with Pluto retrograde. I think this is going to be a time when you're going to understand the part that you played, 1717 on the clock, 8, 8, 16, 7. Okay, so something gets a little divine insight coming in there that shows you how you contributed to the way things sort of rolled out, and how you can rework this, get a better result next time this comes around the bend. Something here is coming back around the bend. It's not done yet, clearly. I also feel like a judgment did get passed down. Maybe you cast judgment on a situation a little early. Maybe because you did feel like you had to do what you had to do to take care of yourself. I mean, 10 of Swords in the back is definitely an environment that doesn't foster trust. All right. You may have felt like, I don't want to even sign on for this. And so you said you were done, you bailed out. But something needs to be dealt with. Something is meant to come back around. There's something karmic going on here, okay? I do feel like communication is going to come in. You will receive some kind of communication by Leo season. And I do feel when there's that Mars trine Pluto that comes in on July 21st, sometime right around there, the start of Leo season, you will be taking some kind of action, or somebody's going to be taking an action towards you. And it changes things. It does get things moving. And in fact, it might be at that time that you might be more prone to kind of throw caution to the wind a little bit, I have to say, because you do have this moving through your house of pleasure, romance, fun, you know. You might even plan on going on some getaway, going on a trip. I do feel like there will be a lot of communication going on. And at the same time that this is opening up, while there's a lot of positive influences, I also feel like subconsciously there's going to be a lot coming up for you. Fears around being emotionally manipulated, fears of being betrayed. And because of this, you might really try to play things sort of like light and on the surface, when maybe what's really required is you dive a little bit deeper. Okay, remember during this cycle that the focus needs to be on you and how you're experiencing the situation, what your piece is to hold in this, not about what others are doing. So remember to always like turn within, especially if you start to feel activated around anything. Okay, let me see what is moving forward here, because something is definitely moving forward with the Chariot coming in with the Eight of Wands, with the Knight of Swords, with the Knight of Wands. I mean, not only is it getting moving, it's getting moving really quickly. And I think that might be the piece that sort of stirs up maybe some subconscious stuff for you. I mean, you could be sort of daring. You might be feeling a little rebellious. You might want to throw caution to the wind. I do see you being very careful with your heart, guarded with your heart, okay? You're a little untrusting here, I have to say. You are. You're a little cautious here, and you're not wanting to lose some ground. I mean, you do have grief to process in this situation. And with the Three of Swords, it does indicate that there has been a separation. But the Three of Swords is never like a permanent separation. It's always a temporary pause in a situation before it goes to the next level. What do we got here? Yeah, I think that you've been having a hard time moving forward. You still have a lot of unprocessed grief here, and it's related to some love relationship. There's some kind of healing that needs to happen here. I feel like nobody's been able to move away from this situation without carrying the pain forward. And so there's something here about this pain needs to be released. This pain needs to be cleansed. And for you, just with that Six of Cups to come out as well, I have to say, Libra, you could have a lot of really deep stuff getting activated right now. Some of you have stuff that, you know, goes back to your childhood. It's activating abandonment issues for you. You know, there's something that takes you back to a former time and place where you really experience like a serious wounding with that Ten of Swords. And I think you're being very self-protective when it comes to your emotions. A lot of you have probably thrown your energy into really just getting your own, you know, sense of self back. You've been pouring into yourself. You've been addressing your health. You've been building your finances. You're just enjoying your own company, wanting to get into your own essence. I mean, I do like seeing this energy come out here, okay? The Nine of Pentacles to the Queen of Pentacles. This is pre-Empress energy, so I do feel like you've been in a process of integrating a lot spiritually. I do see this is going to continue. I also feel like whatever you went through back there, it was really mean and heavy. And so you're just have a really strong desire to just have a little bit more lightness of being, a little more levity, a little bit more pleasure, you know. You're wanting to move away from troubles, and yet you still have these troubles here. Like you're moving forward with this pain. It hasn't gone anywhere yet. Okay, so I feel like this is why this is coming back around. There's some kind of communication in relation to this. Give me more details, please, for Libra about this. Oh, very interesting. Yeah, I think you did let go. You know, you've been resting, you've been integrating, you've been trusting. I don't think you've been trying to force anything. You know, Four of Swords shows that you kind of like gave it over to spirit. You're like, okay, you know, I trust. I take my hands off of it. What goes, goes, you know. I'm not going to fight for something. And for some of you, this did have something to do with like some kind of third party element involved in the situation, some kind of hope for healing or celebration you thought was going to come about, but it totally got put on pause. And you feel like you've been hanging in the crossroads ever since. But at the same time, it's like letting go like that. It gave you an opportunity to get a different view of a situation, get a different view of yourself, what you really want, what you really value, what you want to invest in. Okay. I do feel you found a sense of personal value here. And I don't think that that's something you're going to sacrifice very, very easily, especially with that Queen of Wands energy here. But this could have something to do with a Pisces, I have to say. And when we think of Pisces, we think of the 12th house. So there maybe needed to be a pause in this situation. Maybe you needed to have a blind spot highlighted for you. It could be that there was a hidden enemy in the mix. Libra, your house is a house of open enemies, but with 12th house activity, this is a hidden enemy. Maybe something came to light. Somebody you trusted betrayed you. This gave you pause, you know? There's a lot of kind of like reference to outside, you know, interference, something that made you feel betrayed. It was kind of a deal breaker for you. Give me some details about what happens as this energy starts to move forward, not move forward, but backtrack into Capricorn. Because then it's going to be moving through your fourth house. It's going to be your home. And when I think of the home, I think about where you belong, um, your sense of, yeah, look at this. You're really on guard. You know, you're not trusting. You're not trusting. You feel like somebody really did you foul here, I have to say, with the Six of Wands in reverse to the Nine of Cups. You feel like somebody was very selfish in however they moved back there. They were only thinking about themselves, what they wanted, what was fulfilling for them, to the extent that it felt extremely like harsh, you know? Like somebody really did not consider you at all in this situation. Not at all. And it did lead to a crossroads moment in a soulmate connection with the lovers here, I have to say, because there's every indication of soulmates here. We see it, all right? We got the Two of Cups. We got the Six of Cups. This is soulmate energy, especially coming in with the lovers, all right? We have Queen of Cups, King of Cups. We know that something happened in some relationship that was very dear to your heart, where there was some kind of interference in whatever happened here. It felt very unfair, okay? And it felt like somebody was acting very selfishly. Whatever happened here, it's got your hackles up, you know? It's got your hackles up, and you're on guard. And you're just tired, you know? I see that. You're tired. And perhaps that's why you're downplaying the pain that you feel. You may be a little bit disassociated from your grief around this situation. You may have had to just kind of like keep it moving, man. You didn't even have time to really process this. So I see that once it heads into retrograde motion through Capricorn, you're really going to start to look at those foundational matters, all right? So you might start sorting through more of what life was like at home. What was the relationship like between, you know, your mom and your dad? What was that like? You know, how do you feel in terms of the family and your sense of belonging? Do you feel like you belong, or have you always felt kind of like the odd man out? You know, I feel like these are all things you're looking at. Also, with the Nine of Wands here, you could have some really old stuff that's being activated for you that causes you to kind of put up your guard. I feel like you also may have been dealing with a very like competitive situation, and you didn't want any part of that. I see that with the Six of Wands in reverse. You're like, go ahead, have it, you know? I don't want to compete for anything. What's meant for me will be for me. Oh, I like this. I didn't even see this, but I do see something coming into alignment for you. This is you. This is your energy. Empress energy to the Four of Wands, okay? You're just looking for, you know, that place where you belong and where you also belong with another. I also think you're looking for that place called home. But there is this real piece about you've been really taking your energy back. And instead of searching for it in another, which Libras, you know, they tend to do that. They overly romanticize things sometimes. 2844, okay? I do think there needed to be sort of like this dissolving of maybe too lofty of a view of a situation. You really needed to see all the nuts and bolts of a situation. You needed to understand the complication of it, everything that was at work there, also so you could have a different view of it yourself. But I think something got highlighted for you too, you know? And there's something here about before you really even want to think about coming into alignment with another, first, you really want to be in that place within yourself. I do see you elevating to this energy, this Empress energy, especially once we get the motion going into your fourth house of home. Okay? So it could be that you're coming into alignment in a situation where you are finding that place where you belong. And maybe you're finding somebody who really wants to invest in that with you, build a future with you. Okay? We do have the Two of Cups here to the Four of Wands. This is really positive energy. And on top of that, we did have the Emperor come out. All right. So I do feel like you are in the process of healing a connection. Something was put on pause, but it is coming back around. Okay. And there's something really foundational here that's being addressed. I do feel like There's a lot you need to look at here as far as what was your childhood upbringing like. What were your examples of relationship as you were growing up? What was your home environment like? In fact, there may be things about this situation that you've been dealing with that have been kind of like activating some of that stuff. It's been difficult to integrate. You felt really guarded. I feel like your biggest challenge, Libra, is going to be to let the guard down, but it does encourage me to see that you're going to find that place, I believe, where you're really at home within yourself, okay? I see that. I don't think you're going to compromise yourself. I don't see you doing that, okay? This is a really beautiful energy to have the Four of Wands with the Empress there, okay? So maybe this is the way you've been in the past, you know? You really felt like you had to protect yourself. But there's something that's shifting here where you're in a process of coming into a place of belonging to yourself. I feel that. And there's a certain empowerment that comes with that gives you the opportunity to come into alignment with another where maybe you really can sort of celebrate with each other. Maybe you both have been going through a healing process here, okay? And there could have been some elements in the mix. There could have been some complicating elements in the mix. There could have been some competitive elements in the mix. There could have been some other people in the mix that were throwing a wrench in the works. All right, there is some kind of third-party interference here. That third-party interference could have been coming from family members. It could have been coming from friends who were a little too up in your business, getting too involved. You know, maybe somebody didn't recognize you as the Empress or the Emperor, Libra, and, you know, you needed to kind of like really take a stand for yourself and sort of like break away from that to show that you do value yourself. Right? Because I do feel like you didn't participate in this. You didn't compete. An empress, an emperor does not compete. They just don't, okay? And I think if anything, you're just tired of this stuff coming at you and you got your hackles up. You don't want to deal with more of the same. I do have to say, whoever's coming towards you, you know, in Leo season, you may be a little on guard. You may be afraid that they're going to come with drama in tow. So let me get some more details about once Pluto retrogrades into Capricorn, what's coming in here for Libra? What does Libra need to be aware of during that cycle, Spirit? What does Libra need to be aware of in that cycle, Spirit? I mean, I like to see this on the other side here. That's pretty wild how at first, you know, Judgment was in reverse and now it's upright, okay? You could have also been led astray. Maybe some people were kind of trying to give an impression that a situation was really one way when it's actually another, okay? There definitely was disappointment caused by some kind of third-party interference here. And that story is going to look a little different for all of you. For some of you, it was a competitive situation, okay? There were side pieces involved. You know, somebody maybe stepped out on a relationship. You know, maybe you were the one on the side. Maybe somebody didn't want to take you seriously. They didn't feel you were worthy of investing in 33, 44. I think they got a different view of that now. That makes me think big Empress, Emperor energy, okay? There could have been somebody who came in between an Empress and Emperor, okay? But the whole goal of that was so you could really recognize your worth. It's like, there's something here that even though it looked negative, it worked to your advantage because I feel like both people, both individuals went through a healing process here that levels them up. It gives a different perspective and a new appreciation for each other in this situation. There is an opportunity for love and alignment here, but this could sabotage it with the Three of Cups, you know, reflecting too much on this. So I do feel like this is what you really need to integrate here. You know, whatever happened back there that threw things awry, you know, that caused a sense of disappointment. And just for it to be in that fifth house, I do feel like somebody, it could have been you, Libra, or you could have been dealing with another who just wasn't really taking the connection to be worthy of investment. You know, somebody here took something too lightly and they played with somebody's heart. That's what I feel. And it caused a lot of pain and it also activated a lot of deep stuff. And I do feel like you're you're in the process of integrating this, but it's almost like you went hyper independent. You might need to balance it out a little bit. And this is really about you owning your own experience in that, okay? Not looking at other people. I do feel like there's a cycle being closed here. Yeah, there's a page of wands here, okay? Whoever's reaching out to you, I think you have trust issues with this person. You do. And you may feel like this person just kind of, took things cavalierly, or maybe you think that this person just likes to play around. You feel like you can't take them seriously. This could be a fire sign energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. You may think that this person's just in it for the moment, or maybe you even think that this person likes to play with your heart. All right, I have to say, or somebody could have this impression of you. They could think you play things too loose, right? It's usually a mirrored situation, but this is really up to you to stand in your position of power in this situation. Whether you are the Empress or the Emperor in this situation, there's been growth here, okay? And I do feel like there's a little bit of reflecting on the past that's affecting how the present is viewed. We got a crossing energy here. It's this pain, only it's coming in reverse. So something here is wanting to be turned around. But before that can happen, and there can be a new way of seeing things, there has to be a closure of the past and the old cycle. And there might need to be closure around something that happened concerning an Aquarius, a Scorpio, a Taurus, or a Leo here. And that could have had something to do with this third party interference. And right behind that, we got justice. Okay? So I do feel like something wasn't fair. Okay, and there is something that is being balanced out here. This south node is getting balanced out, and you will be elevating to your north node. I do think that you're going to figure out where you belong. And I think what it really comes down to is you're recognizing that you belong to yourself. You belong to yourself. Very interesting. Tell me, what happens for Libra once Pluto goes direct in Capricorn on October 11th? What does it bring in for Libra, Spirit? What does it bring in for Libra on October 11th once Capricorn goes direct? How does that influence how things move forward? I do feel like you're coming into alignment with where you belong. I feel like you're figuring this out. And I do feel that there's somebody on the other side of that they've come a long way too. And I feel like you're acknowledging each other's growth, all right? I do. There is a lot of guardedness here, though, okay? So there is a need to kind of like stop expecting more of the same. You got a little bit of that, the other shoe's going to drop syndrome. And if you're bracing yourself for more of the same, then more of the same is exactly what you're going to get here, all right? This is what's, kind of challenging. We have an Ace of Cups here in reverse to a Knight of Pentacles in reverse, Earth sign energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. This is something that could come up in the summertime. There could be somebody that's approaching you and you just feel like, it took too long. It's sort of like the opportunity's been spilled out. Because Nine of Pentacles, in reverse is an extremely slow moving energy. It's almost got the vibes of like somebody thought that they could just like put you on the back burner. They could go off, they could have fun, they could do what they wanted to do. And then, yeah, you'll still be there when it come back around. I think you feel like somebody is a little bit flippant with this opportunity, They didn't take it seriously. There's this feeling of, taking matters too lightly. Whatever went down here, it looks like it was actually pretty loaded. And you just felt like, somebody really dropped the ball there. So you may be turning something down that at one point you would have been like full steam ahead on, At one point you may have felt like, yes, that's exactly what I want, or that may have been something you idealized. But you're starting to realize that maybe you don't want just fun and games. You know what I mean? Maybe you don't want just, what used to light you up, just a little bit of fun. You're really looking to have that connection and that level of trust with another where you feel like, I really know I belong here. I don't have to wonder about it. I don't have to wonder like what's going to come at me next. There's just this sense of assuredness in this connection. So I do feel like you're sort of like elevating your standards. And I don't think that you're lacking here. I mean, this is good energy, whether you represent as the Empress or the Emperor. This is you definitely being in a place where you know your worth, you know your value, you've integrated all the lessons of all four suits, okay? And you're in a place of abundance and health and vitality and creativity. And there's new beginnings that are springing from this, and it's good. And I think there's a lot of success closing up this old karmic cycle, okay? One final round here. Any further details about the fall and what comes in for Libra, integrating these lessons? I do feel like you're going to pass some offer down, okay? And there's somebody else you're coming into alignment with. It's interesting. It's like one offer gets passed up and one gets accepted. And that 9 of Wands still wants to stay on the bottom of the deck. You're turning down this offer here, okay? Because you're recognizing that it's not legit. Like this person just likes to stir up drama. They like people to compete for them. They get off on this, and hey, they may say that they're coming in for commitment, but this person drags their heels. It's not what they want. They're just out to have a good time, and that's fine. But it's this piece of sort of like misrepresenting what it's really about that's going to have you thinking twice. And you're going to recognize it from a mile away. You're going to know, oh no, I'm not down for another round of that. Okay, let me do a cut of the deck here and see what we got, Libra. I mean, looks like in the fall you land in a really good place with that Empress Emperor in it. Oh, look at that. No, you're holding out for an Emperor. I love this. Empress to Emperor. Look at that. Okay, so yeah, hold out. And the King of Pentacles. Okay, so this is somebody who really will invest. This is somebody who's ready to invest. They're not playing games here. Okay, Aries, Taurus on the board here. Okay, they could have a strong Aries placement. They could have a strong Taurus placement. They could have a strong Libra placement. All right. But in order for this to come in, and move forward to the real deal, there is something you have to leave behind. All right. It's very clear. Something gets left behind and has everything to do with you knowing your worth, knowing your value, knowing what really does feel like home to you, I feel, and is worth standing up for, is worth representing. And I have to say, the choice you make, maybe not everybody agrees with it, but it's true for you. And that's what really matters at the end of the day here, Libra, okay? And there is a new beginning here, and it's up to you. Like somebody is going to make a legitimate offer, and they mean it. It's Empress to Emperor. Somebody's grown just like you. They understand their worth and value too. You both have gone through this process. So it's going to be up to you what you do here, but I do feel like you're done with the foolishness and you're going to be able to recognize it a mile away. So anybody who comes to you with some kind of false offer, and they're back on that same old BS, I don't see you falling for that, which is good, all right? So that has everything to do with you, clearing out the old karmic cycle, coming back home to yourself. You're not going to be in a situation where anybody puts you in a competitive position. This could also be that you finally, kind of have it revealed to you who threw a wrench in the works back there. I mean, you may have your suspicions, you may have some hunches, but I think it will be clearly defined for you too. You're going to know exactly where you need to move away and what you should move towards. And whoever's moving towards you, they're going to make it very clear where they want to be. You can't see it right now, the veil, the future. I also feel that this is a piece where it's sort of saying, don't assume that the future is going to be a replay of the past. And it was 44 on the clock, because there's something altogether new happening here that you can't even begin to see coming. So just have an open mind. And most of all, trust yourself in this situation. And I think it's really important that you really listen to what feels right to you, what feels right in your heart. That's what you should listen to, okay? So a lot of balancing out happening in this situation. I mean, this is an Empress to Emperor story. You're definitely coming into alignment with a counterpart here. There's been a big healing process involved in this situation. So we got all signs on the board. But we do see in this situation, there has been a lot of empty promises, okay? There's been a lot of delays. There's been a lot of sort of like acting out of lower nature, like, oh, I'm just in it for the pleasure of the moment. Somebody, was getting off on having, a lot of people competing for their affection or their attention in this situation. And you have to look at the ways that, you participated in that too, all right? I do feel you walked away from it, but you also have to look at your part, because that's what's really important during this cycle, is that you look at ways that maybe, you turned a blind eye to certain things, or that you let a situation drag on too long, or maybe you accepted something less than what truly made you feel appreciated, valued for too long, and how that translates to how you feel about yourself. But I do feel like there has been a lot of healing that's happened here on both sides, I have to say, and it looks really good. But I do see you turning down somebody. It's like you get tested. I feel like there's going to be a test. There's going to be like this false flame that comes in beforehand. It's not the flame that burns. It's the flame that leaves you with afterburn. You know what I'm saying? It leaves you with heartburn. Yeah, unnecessary fear here on the split. Okay, you got to trust your intuition. All right, you got to trust your intuition. Don't feed the fears. Just really sink into what feels right in this situation. Libra, that the only time you ever, suffered ill repercussions is when you didn't trust your intuition. So I think as long as you really heed what your gut's telling you, you can't go wrong in this situation. Again, the veil, the future, what's coming here does not look anything like where you've been. Something has really been transformed in this situation. You may feel that something was really unfair, that you missed out on something, and you're going to realize that it's the best thing in the world that could have ever happened to you back there. That what seemed like, a judgment not in your favor was actually for your greatest benefit. That's what I feel. Yeah. Yep. We got Black Cat. Fortune meets opportunity. So you see, the past, it still lingers, okay? And there may still be this past energy sort of hovering around. You may sense that. You may feel that. Again, this is sort of like the past hanging like a dark cloud over you. There's something that does need to really be cleansed away here. There's something that needs to be released here. I do feel like something, according to you at that time, feels like it was bad luck, or it was a real rough hand of fate, or that something wasn't fair, something wasn't right, okay? And I'm not saying that you didn't go through something unjust, but what I'm saying is what looks like it was something negative turns out to be a positive, and fortune meets opportunity. You'll see this, okay? Come fall, things will look a lot different to you, and I feel like there's a lot you're going to learn in this process too. Right? There's stuff that you don't know about here that's going to come to light as well. And it's going to give you a totally different perception of this situation. Cut of the deck. Just to cap this off, Libra. Look at this. I love it. Okay. Dawn of a new day. You're getting away from the heavy energy. You're moving into a lighter, brighter phase of your life. And yes, remembrance. Okay. Don't forget what you've learned here. So I do feel like there could be a temptation that's coming your way. I feel like you got a bit of a test. And it's just the way it is, because you're holding down the self-know position. So, the fates are going to be a little bit tougher on you. They want to make sure you really learned your lesson back there, all right? So I do feel like something's coming back around, potentially something from last fall, okay? Something where you did feel like you needed to put up some boundaries, you needed to protect yourself. There is something you need to remember here, okay? You can't ignore something that happened, okay? And I do feel like this is going to be tested. There's going to be somebody that comes back around that you really need to remember what happened back there. You can't just throw caution to the wind, but I do feel like this person presents a temptation, right? So be aware of this. Yeah, you know, and I think you're really going to need to rely on your hidden talents here with Night Song. This is also a bit of the ancestral energy coming forward, you know, ancestors looking out for you, safeguarding your joy, your happiness, this new beginning that wants to come in. You very well could have been dealing with a witchy character here, all right? We do have Owl coming in here, wise scene, wise action. I think you'll know how to handle this situation. And for me, Owl often speaks of a deceiver. So I do feel like there's somebody here that you do need to be aware of. Oh, I got a lot of sentience around this. You're on the other side of this, okay? So don't trip on it, but do heed your intuition. Don't just, you know, take an apology at face value or somebody coming forward and just really laying it on thick. There might be something you need to be aware of here. I do feel like despite there being an opportunity here, there is still something lingering in the shadow that's been keeping an eye on you, and you do need to be aware of this. But you are protected, all right? And I think you're going to see right through this so you can break on through to the other side. Get that new beginning that's meant for you, and it looks good, Libra. So don't blow this test, okay? But I do feel like you need to go for the real deal when it comes your way, and you need to trust, okay? Otherwise, you're going to have a lot of regret, right? You're going to have a lot of regret. And I feel like there is somebody in this situation who has some regret. So even if you don't decide to move forward with this character, you can hear them out. But again, there's somebody here who just wants to come around to drain you and perhaps stir up some more problems, just like before. We got a vampire here. You need to exercise your emotional intelligence in this situation, Libra, so you don't get taken advantage of. And if you get taken advantage of, this is because you didn't listen to your intuition. You didn't respect what your gut was telling you, all right? This is coming through strongly. You have to trust your intuition in this situation because there's somebody here who does want control. And this is an influence from the past. And it's time you bury this thing once and for all. And in doing so, you finally, you know, stir that pot in such a way that you get to cook up something that's actually nurturing, nourishing. You get access to that cauldron of Dagda, and you bring about beautiful synergy and healing. All right? Remember your lessons. Don't blow it, because you stand to really elevate in a big way, and with somebody by your side who's also willing to do the work and is just as invested in you as you are in them. But not if you throw it, you know, throw caution in the wind and just invest in what seems like a good time in the moment. You'll totally blow it, all right? So be smart. And if in doubt, refrain. And if somebody pressures you, you tell them to move it along, all right? You'll know what's true and you'll know what to do as long as you don't forget what you've learned and you trust your heart.